Hey guys, Abby here. Welcome to part 3 of the anointed items ranking list, the tier list we got going on here. In part 1 we did shields and grenades, that'll be linked down below. Part 2 we did general weapon anointments, and we talked about the best anointed weapon perks for each character. And in part 3 we're going to start taking a deep dive into the Vault Hunter specific weapon perks, so ones that you can only use on that particular Vault Hunter. Some of them are also locked behind certain action skills as well. In part 1 I went over kind of what anointed perks are, what anointed items look like, gave you guys a basic rundown of anointed items. So if you want that information, make sure to go watch part 1. I'm not going to go over that in this one because we have the foundation already in the other video and I don't want these videos to be too long. But in this video, we're going to be talking about FL4K specific anointed weapon perks because FL4K is my bae and I have the most hours on FL4K. So I feel like I have enough knowledge to tell you guys which anointments you're going to want to use and look out for FL4K and which ones you just don't even need to pick up. Here's the tier ranking for FL4K. So we've got enemies damaged by Rakk Attack take 100% increased damage for 10 seconds. And we've got while Gamma Burst is active, gain 115% bonus radiation damage. Those are both S tier 100%. If you're running a Gamma Burst build in particular, you want to get that Gamma Burst anointment on your weapons, especially now that it's been buffed to 115%. It is just too good to pass up on all of your weapons. It's going to surpass a lot of other anointments that you can get on there, if not all of them, honestly. And my strategy when building a Gamma Burst FL4K is to get those anointments on your weapons to do the radiation damage, and then have your weapon actually be a different element that complements radiation. So corrosive, cryo. My favorite is cryo. Cryo and radiation go really well together because radiation is really bad against armor, and cryo comes in and picks up the slack there because cryo is better against armor. However, cryo is bad against shields. So they kind of complement each other really well. So that's the recommendation I would make when you're building your own Gamma Burst build, is to pick weapons with elements that are not radiation so that it complements the radiation anointment that you have. So you're kind of covering your bases no matter what type of health, shield, or armor bar you're going against. For your Rakk Attack build, the anointment enemies damaged by Rakk Attack take 100% increased damage for 10 seconds is really, really good, but it's also going to depend on which class mod you're using. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a breakdown on when you use enemies damaged by Rakk Attack take 100% increased damage, and when you use on action skill end increased damage by 100%. So if you're using the Rakk Pack class mod for FL4K, which you can only get on Mayhem 4 from the Trial of Cunning boss, the Tink of Cunning. It's a very difficult farm. I think the drop rate right now, since the increase is about 10%, you are going to want to use the Rakk Attack anointment here if you are using Rakk Pack, because your Rakk Pack is going to be hitting up to 5 enemies at a time. So it's going to be hitting pretty much all you can be shooting at that point. However, if you are not using Rakk Pack, if you are just going with standard racks, you're not splitting the racks with the Rakk Pack, I would stick with the on action skill end increase weapon damage by 100%, because then you don't have to worry about only targeting the one enemy that your racks are hitting. But comparing the enemies damaged by Rakk Attack anointment and the action skill end 100% weapon damage anointment, the Rakk Attack anointment is actually multiplicative. So you're going to get more damage from that 100% than you will from the on action skill weapon damage 100%. That one is additive. So Rakk Attack will actually give you more damage overall. So you're going to want to go with that if you are using Rakk Pack. And then now we go down to the A tier. After using Rakk Attack, gain 50% critical hit damage for 8 seconds. This one's kind of a secondary to Rakk Attack. Not the best with the 50% critical hit damage, but if you are running Megavore, which you should be if you're running Rakk Attack, then you'll get a lot of damage boost out of the critical hit damage boost. And then down in the B tier, we've got after using attack command, gain 30% lifesteal for 8 seconds. This is not bad if you want a way to get lifesteal, but honestly, I never use my attack command. I don't know if anybody does, but it's just so awkward to use when you're playing. And then down in the C tier, we've got while fadeaway is active, gain greatly increased accuracy and handling for 20 seconds. This is pretty much garbage. I've never used this anointment, and I wouldn't suggest that you guys do either. Hopefully they will improve fadeaway anointments in the future. And then lastly, we've got grants an extra charge of Rakk Attack. Now I put this all the way at the bottom because it is pretty much broken. It's not a good anointment to use whatsoever unless you are trying to proc your action skill end anointments by using the bug where this anointment will actually trigger action skill end. So when you have a weapon out with grants an extra charge of Rakk Attack, the game thinks that you have a Rakk ready to go, even if you are not even using the Rakk Attack action skill. So if you hold that weapon out and then you switch to a different weapon, it takes that Rakk Attack away. And I'm putting quotes around my face right now. It takes that Rakk Attack away, and so it thinks that you had your action skill end, so it triggers that action skill end for you so you can get your elemental anoints or whatever other anointments you have. That's really its only purpose right now. You don't need an extra charge of Rakk Attack to play Rakk Attack. The cooldown is plenty. So that's all the anointed weapon perks that we've got for Flak specifically. For me personally, I always pick up enemies damaged by Rakk Attack, gain 100% increased damage for 10 seconds. I always pick up while Gamma Burst is active, gain 115% radiation damage. Sometimes I will pick up the crit one if it's on a weapon that I don't have one of the other anointments on. And then the only other general anointments that I pick up as Flak are on action skill end 100% weapon damage, on action skill end 125% splash damage, and sometimes depending on the weapon I will pick up the on action skill end lifesteal anointment. And that is it for my Flak recommendations for anointed weapon perks. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any comments, leave them down below. If you think I misplaced any of the perks, let me know, or if there's a general one that you think is really awesome for Flak, let me know that as well. I'm curious what you guys think. As always, thank you guys so much for your support on the channel. I really do appreciate it. I also stream on twitch.tv/AbbyHour Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday starting at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I would love it if you would stop by and say hello. If you want to see more Borderlands 3 content, I mostly do build videos and educational videos. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell for notifications, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.